This video was supposed to be about every single Lion King book, but after a little bit of a research, I realized that most of the Lion King books are either a bad retelling of the movie or are just for kids who has just learned how to read or have a very small and non-important story. To a point that if I wanted to talk about all the Lion King books, I would have basically named them in chronological order and then say kiddie book, or it's a retelling of the movie, or Simba and Nala climbed a tree, the end. That would be boring. The only Lion King books that are worth checking out are 6 New Adventures that I have already covered and the Brightest Star, the subject of this video. But if you think there is an important Lion King book that I should talk about, comment it. So now here is my review and narration of the Lion King The Brightest Star book. Simba and Mufasa were gazing at the stars. Simba realizes that there is one star that is bigger and brighter than all the rest. When Simba asks about it, Mufasa says that it is the spirit of Mohatu, Simba's great-grandfather. When Simba asks more about it, Mufasa tells the story of Mohatu the Lion King. A long time ago, when Mohatu was the king of the Pride Lands, there was a terrible drought, and everyone was suffering. Mohatu the wise king made a law about how much water each animal could drink, and also said that lions should drink less because they can go for days without drinking. And the plan was working and animals were surviving, until one day a selfish and lazy lion broke the law. When Mohatu was informed about it, he went into deep thoughts. He realized that even with the laws, the only remaining waterhole was getting smaller and smaller. And when even his own kind doesn't listen to the rules, something needed to be done. Mohatu told his people that he is going on a long journey to find water. The next day, Mohatu started his search. After a very long walk, Mohatu finally found a place with water. A big forest with mountains and waterfalls, which is the same place that Timon and Pumbaa were living in the Lion King movie. When Mohatu drank from the river, he heard crying, so he went to see who it was. It was a crocodile that was crying. Mohatu asked him why. The crocodile approached Mohatu and he realized that this is the largest crocodile ever. But Mohatu was too fearless to be afraid of it. The crocodile tells Mohatu that he is crying because he has no friend. No one comes to the river because everyone is horrified by his large size. So Mohatu tries to help. Mohatu asks a few animals of the forest and realizes that animals of this forest have the same fears as his own people. They are afraid of each other and they don't trust each other. Mohatu went back to Pride Lands to execute his plans. The Pride Landers asked King Mohatu and he answered that he has found a great river that they can drink from. The animals cheered and asked where it is. Mohatu said that it was far from Pride Lands, and in order to reach it, they need to trust each other and cooperate. But the fact that first it was a lion that broke the law didn't help. So the animals didn't listen to him, and everyone tried to reach the forest as fast as possible, without any care for the well-being of others. What happened next was chaos. All the animals, big or small, prey or predator, running as fast as they can. In the stampede, a zebra kicked a cheetah in the chest, flattening him to the ground. All the animals behind the cheetah ran over him. So Mohatu carries the cheetah on his back. The zebra was the first to reach the river, but he got stuck in the quicksand that was around the river. The animals tried to help him, but they couldn't. So King Mohatu asked the giant crocodile for help. The crocodile saves the zebra. The zebra thanks the giant crocodile and asks the cheetah for forgiveness. The cheetah forgives the zebra and the animals drink from the river. Then Mohatu and the animals say their goodbyes to the crocodile and go back to the Pride Lands. From that day, the Pride Landers would journey to the great forest to drink from the water, and Crocodile was happy to see his new friends. After a while, the drought ended and there was no need for traveling to the forest. But Mohatu never forgot his crocodile friend and he would visit him from time to time. Mohatu ruled over Pride Land for many years until he died out of old age. After his death, the animals were sad for a while, and slowly they would start fighting again. But one night, the animals realized one thing. There was a new star in the sky, bigger and brighter than the other stars. They realized that it was the spirit of the great King Mohatu. So they stopped fighting and continued their peaceful life again, because they knew that their king was looking over them from the sky. So there you have it. What do I think about it? It is good. Not as good as 6 New Adventures, but still a cute little enjoyable book. Also, if you are wondering what kind of stories I consider worthy of being covered, stories like these are worthy. They don't need to be perfect, they just need to start a conversation. No one will talk about the Lion King characters telling each other made up scary stories. But even after many years, people will talk about who Mohatu the Lion King is, even if that conversation would be small. I only talked about the books that had an impact on the fan base. In 6 New Adventures, we heard stories about Simba's grandfather, and in the Brightest Star, we learned about Simba's great-grandfather. And also in 6 New Adventures, alongside Simba's pride and the Lion Guard, we see stories of Simba's children. So we know 4 generations in the Lion King franchise, and that is cool. I like stories that go generation by generation. It would be cool to have an animated Lion King series that would happen in an alternate universe, and it would have 4 seasons, and each season would tell the stories of one of those generations. And maybe even a season 5 about Simba's grandchildren. I would love to have it, but I won't be sad if it did not exist. Maybe I am wrong and I'm asking for too much fan service. And maybe the stories of Mohatu and Ahadi would be better as a legend. Maybe the less we know about them, the most interesting they are. The fan base has told more stories about them anyway. But speaking of Ahadi and 6 New Adventures, most fans say that Mohatu is Ahadi's father, and a few say he's Uru's father. But there is no official words for that. The Brightest Star could be completely unrelated to 6 New Adventures, and its writers probably weren't even aware of the existence of Ahadi and Uru. And probably both the Brightest Star and 6 New Adventures are non-canon anyway. But why not? Having an extended universe as a headcanon wouldn't hurt. It's totally fine that in retrospect, we connect unrelated stuff to each other. We say Mohatu is Ahadi's father because it's fun. It's not going to hurt the franchise. That is the beauty of being a part of a fan base. and consuming fan media. It lets you have more fun with your favorite franchise, and there is nothing wrong with that, unless it leads to toxic manners. That is not okay. Have fun with your headcanons, but also be kind to each other.